welcome back to our channel. I'm Bianca, I'm one of the bosses, and welcome here. Thanks for clicking on our video. Today I'm going to chat to you all about breastfeeding. Before you watch any further, please note that this video has explicit language, in a sense that I do name body parts by their name. So please be aware of little tiny mouse ears. Use your earphones if just fair warning. So let's get into it. Okay, afterwards checking Bianca here. I noticed that I sat way too close to the camera, so I cut myself off. I do apologize. I was in a rush to record this video because Zara wanted some attention. She skipped nap time. So I do apologize, but enjoy this valuable, entertaining video. Disclaimer before we start. I really believe that fed is best. However you choose to feed your child, as long as you feed your child, that is best for them. Make sure they're fed, make sure their tummies are full and they're healthy, and that's what matters, right? I have been breastfeeding from the beginning without substituting formula, and I am still breastfeeding at 26 months postpartum, like 26 and a half. Months postpartum, so that's about 2 years. Okay, still going strong. So I'm just gonna throw it all out. This is gonna be kind of like an introduction, or this is what I remember type of video, and yes, then I have something good planned for you after that, so hold on till the end. Okay, let's start at the beginning. In the beginning, as a newborn, she fed around average 8 to 11 times in a 24-hour period. Some babies feed less, some babies feed more. I think she's definitely a little bit on the less side, I think. I'm not sure. Back then, people told me that. It's an opinionated opinion. And at the moment, we're only feeding once in a 24-hour period. So I obviously started with a lot of feeding, and then we did sort of from 4 months, a collab weaning process, where I literally dropped, like, I would stretch the feeds, and then drop it and put a meal instead of that feed. And that's how I literally just swapped out feeds for food or stretched her out. When she was, first of all, old enough biologically to handle that. And secondly, when she showed signs of readiness. That's very important, to look for your baby's own signs of readiness. And so I just dropped it as I went, and then we finally dropped down to one feed. So we do one feed, which is before bedtime at night. And that's the only feed we do. I would give her milk if she asks. She only asks, like, sometimes when she wakes up or sometimes in the afternoon if something is wrong. So the moment she asks for milk now, I know something's up. Like she's teething, or she's feeling a little off, or she slept bad, or whatever. There's always something wrong in a way if she asks for more milk. It's obviously your choice how you handle that, when you give milk, when you give in, when you don't. Some people are very strict with weaning, some are not. I never felt like I wanted to feed her less until after, I'd say, like Oh, after like 2 years, I dropped to one feed just before she turned 2, or no, just before. I think just before she turned 2. I can't remember. Anyway, not important. Point is, I that was the first time I felt like I need a little space. I'm getting too sore because the older she gets, the stronger she sucks, and it really it's sore. It's like that suction is very bad, and obviously she has a full mouth of teeth. She only needs like 1 or 2 at the back, if they're not out yet. I haven't checked lately, but like the front teeth is very sharp, and when they suck they literally shave you as they're older, or as soon as the front teeth is out, which is actually quite fast. But I do want to say you do get used to it. When that teeth comes out, just stick it out for like a week, I'd say, and then your body is just used to that feeling and everything is fine, and it's like back to normal. But she's sucking very strong, and my milk is basically starting to get less and less and less, and almost every night she goes like, oh, it's empty, oh done, and then she actually wants a little bit more. And I do still do things to get more milk. It's not really working anymore because she's getting at an age where, well, she doesn't really need it. It's just a comfort, but I'm not going to stop until she's ready. I think we'll see. We'll talk about that again down the line. So in the beginning, she didn't really open her mouth, like, because they're supposed to go like, and then you push their head on. She just went like, and then I had to like wiggle everything in there. That's how she sucked. So for the first 2 weeks, I was constantly blistered, constantly bleeding, very, very sore. In the first like week, I cried with almost every feeding a little because it was extremely painful. While I was in hospital, after birth, I was there for 2 and a little days. I had to get infrared lighting treatment, as well as laser treatment from a physio, which was very helpful. As soon as I got home, I started using a DIY nipple cream recipe that I got, or it's more like a solution than a cream, and it worked wonderful, like extremely wonderful. The moment you put it on, it stings and burns, but it's like, oh, thank goodness, because you can just feel everything healing up. I'll actually type it out in the description below, the recipe, if you would like to make it for yourself. It does stain your fingers and your bras, so do something about that. Anyway, use whatever method you want to apply it. It works wonderful. Moving on. So in the beginning, she actually only drank every 4 hours. In our hospital, in the hospital that I was at, they try and force you to feed every 2 hours. They wake up the baby, and blah, 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 blah. Make sure, watch over you, make sure you get it right. And she did not want to drink at all. They would literally undress her and put cold water over her, and I felt like it was torture, and I told them to stop doing it because she does not want to drink. She's a newborn. If she's hungry, she will drink. And I just put my foot down and I was like, listen, this is too much. And they said yes, but they have to, the nurses have to do it, otherwise they're going to get in trouble, obviously, with the head nurse, the authority, because they have to write down everything in their report. And I told them, well, bring that person to me and I will tell her no. And that's what happened. And anyway, so it went all the way up to the pediatrician, and the pediatrician said, she's growing, she's fine, she's getting enough milk, no problem, don't do it. So I only fed her like every 4 hours in the hospital, and then she slept through 6 hours at night. And then once we got home, she did feed a little bit more frequently. Like I said, we did an average of like between 8 to 11 drinks during a 24 hours, and only like 1 or 2 feeds would be at night. So that was good. So moving on from there, after about 2 weeks, everything was fine. We went for a checkup on her 6th week to the baby clinic, and obviously most babies lose weight during the first 6 weeks before they actually start picking up, and then they want to, at the baby clinic, like let you get a lactation consultation. So obviously they're getting money out of it, and they're like, oh, your baby's losing weight, are you doing everything right? And like putting fear into your mind, which is crap, how dare they? And then they wanted to, like, I had to go to the lactation consultation, and me, stupid, didn't think, oh, this is just a gimmick, they force everyone to do it, just say no, because everything is fine. I'm just like, people pleasing, yes, okay, let's go. In the end, so she showed me a different way of feeding her, and it messed everything up. It didn't work. Then I struggled for like 3 days after that to get the right position, because I was just like so confused. Like I felt like I didn't know what to do anymore, and I don't know how to use my instinct anymore. And then I just made a decision, like, just do what you know, do what worked from the beginning, and everything went fine again. So she had, during the course of her first year, she had silent reflux. We got some medicine for that, which ended up making everything worse. I had to literally force feed her. It was a whole situation. Medicine was too strong for her. Dropped it very, very fast. Everything went back to normal within 24 hours. She had stomach cramps a lot. She still gets those, but her dad gets stomach cramps fast. I get stomach cramps fast. I have IBS, so it's kind of like a genetic thing. I just gave her gripe water. I've tried out like Telemin dribbles. I've tried out Virgast. I've tried out like Optiflora, or just like a probiotic. Nothing worked except gripe water. And still works till this day whenever she has stomach cramps. So that went on during breastfeeding. What else went wrong? I had Fresh around 3.5, 4 months. I got Fresh, and I think that was unbelievably painful. So I got extremely pink. She didn't actually get Fresh, which is surprising. But I was very pink, and I felt raw. So at the same time, I also got clogged milk ducts. I got those quite a lot. I still get them. I'll talk about it in a second. But so when I had Fresh, I would put on like a warm cloth before feeding, as to get the milk to start flowing easier, so she wouldn't have to suck as hard. And then I would put an ice block on my nipple before she drinks, as to like numb it out. And then immediately give her a boob and put the ice block in the other one. And that worked. It worked really well. It worked fast. I could heal it up. Kind of very natural. I didn't really use any medicine for it, and it just went away. I used milk. I also, whenever it got sore, I would just put on breast milk, leave it wet, sit outside in the sun. Sounds funny, just do it. That vitamin D with the milk on you is extremely healing, and it's very important to have you and your baby in the sun like at least 10 minutes or 5 minutes every day from birth, to prevent like yellow fever and all of those things. So, is it yellow fever? Whatever, they turn yellow. I don't know what you call it. But just the sun is healthy. Just do it, okay? Don't fall asleep in the sun. You will get sunburned. I know that too. No, don't do that. Just sit in the sun a little bit and then go. Okay. Anyway, so that happened. And whenever I got clogged ducts, well, there's many tricks and tips that people tell you. Most common one is put on cabbage leaves that are from the very cold. Put that on. I never wanted to do that because first of all, I don't like wasting food, and I'm not going to eat that after. No, thank you. So no, and I didn't like the smell. It was very nauseating to me at that point in time in life. So no, thank you. I did not do that. So what I did was I would stand in very, very hot shower water, but never on the breast, always on the back, top back, like hot water, and then just massage. It's very painful. Massage until the milk starts flowing and like you can feel the duct absolving basically. What also worked was, I don't know how private this is. I need to ask before I share this. What also worked is getting my husband to suck. Because obviously he can suck stronger, and me just massaging it and him sucking until I can just feel it going away worked wonderful. I got like a touch of mastitis, but it didn't go as bad. Like was never out. I got like fever and chills and a little bit of tremor and shake, but it was always over very fast. I got over it fast, so I can't really give any experience or advice on that per se. Things that happen during breastfeeding that I did not know was obviously everything. I don't know why you don't know this because it's kind of common logic, but everything feels like shaving. Everything you wear feels like shaving. So what I did is I'll insert like B-roll here. You get like this cups that you, it's a nipple cup or shield. It's not a nipple shield that the baby drinks with. You just put it in your bra, and it has a hole, and your nipple goes in there, and the milk goes in there. You can actually store the milk afterward. And I just wore that in my bra because you get oxygen. It doesn't the milk doesn't stay in. Breast pads did not work. It shaved me very, very bad. I started bleeding because of wearing breast pads, so I stopped. And since I started using those things, it worked wonderful and everything could heal up. And I think I wore it for 1 month and then I could stop because then everything was healed properly and I could wear a normal bra and nothing bothered me anymore. I didn't leak very long. I'd say I leaked until like 3-4 months maybe, if I remember correctly, and then I stopped leaking. Obviously, I still get leaky when you hear a baby cry because you get emotions like that for some reason. And then more things that happened to me. This is probably more general postpartum than just breastfeeding, is the hormones, the extreme hormones. I do think breastfeeding exacerbates those hormones, but you get so flooded with hormones that you never really feel like you are in control of your emotions until you get used to feeling this way and how to regulate yourself back to center. And just, it's like a mind game that you need to just constantly remind yourself like, hey, this is not me, let's just bring it in. So hormones, crazy. What else I did not know says the fact that the cravings with breastfeeding can be so much worse than the cravings when you're pregnant. I did not expect this. I had extremely more strong cravings while I was breastfeeding than pregnant, especially for chocolate. I think I ate a slab a day for about 6 months. And I'm addicted to chocolate and cocoa, and this is a whole problem that I feel like I almost need to go see a therapist for, because it's bad. Like, I'm really addicted to it. And I don't know, I'm not joking. Like, I'm laughing, but it's not a joke. Okay, then moving on, the stink. Stinky. Breastfeeding makes you stinky. Normally, I'm a very sweaty person, in a sense that I sweat very fast, especially on my forehead and like upper body. I'd say like back here. Under my arms, I wouldn't sweat as fast as the other places, but breastfeeding made me sweat way more. Even my feet started sweating, which was something that never ever happened. I just had so much more sweat. And the problem was I never actually had a very stinky sweat. Everybody's sweat smells, right? Because of bacteria, but I didn't have that extreme stink that some people just get. Which is nothing to be ashamed of. It's natural. You can't do anything about it. So I wasn't a stinky, sweaty person, but breastfeeding changes smells. So first off, my sweat smelled so bad. Then I did a little bit of Googling, and Mr. Google told me it said that the baby can find the breast easier. So I was like, I can guide baby to where the breast is. I do not need a stinky smell, but okay. Okay, so kind of got to deal with that. Another smelly situation is down there. So I wouldn't say it's a stinky situation. I would say it's a different situation. So since breastfeeding, and this could probably just be your body changing because of giving like birth and postpartum and all those things. I don't know. I'm speaking of my experiences. I'm not speaking of every woman out there. I'm speaking of me personally. I started to smell different. So I still smell to myself different than I did before. So you have a certain smell, you know how you smell, and then you get pregnant and it changes. And then you give birth and it changes again. And now the breastfeeding, it's different. It's just different. And it's something to get used to. I wouldn't say it's stinkier like sweat. It's just different. It's different. It's like the pH balance is different. I don't know what it is. There must be some research out there. Do a Mr. Google search. But it's different. Okay. Just so you know. All right. What else? What else is there? Other postpartum things, hair loss, acne, skin changes, those type of things happens. I don't think it's really connected with breastfeeding. What else I didn't know, and some of my friends actually also didn't know it, I saw it somewhere, is that you can use your breast milk to heal or help heal your stretch marks. So I did that. It didn't go away. It just became a little lighter. Maybe if I used it longer or stayed consistent. I was very consistent in the beginning, like 3 times a day, but then I got lazy and I didn't, so that probably delayed the whole process. But you can use it for that. And then I was like, but if it can help heal stretch marks, it should help heal other things too, right? So I started putting breast milk on my acne, and you know what? It worked. I had an acne scar. It's gone. There, that one there. Can you see it? I don't know. I had that scar. It was blue. I've had it. I got that bumble, very big thing. Cyst actually. And in my pregnancy at around like quite early on, like 5 or 6 months. And then it bruised extremely bad because obviously I didn't leave it alone. And I sat, like the acne went gone, the cyst went gone, but I sat with a mark for like the rest of my pregnancy, right? Which is like another 4 months. and it didn't go away. And I started putting breast milk on it, and it was less than a month and it was gone. So, cleared up a lot of acne using breast milk, cleared up acne scars using breast milk. Am I still doing that? No, I do not have enough milk left. I did freeze milk, especially just for the use of bruises, because you can do that too. If your baby gets a bruise, put a little breast milk on. Beautifully perfect, miracle. And so I did freeze up like bags of ice cubes for like breast bruises and acne, because obviously your baby can't drink it after a certain amount of time, but you can still use the healing properties in it. And we have load shedding so much that everything melted and I had to throw it all away, because breast milk is useless when it melts and freezes and melts and freezes, and it's just useless now. So I cried. Another thing I learned, hold on, are you recording? I need to finish up. Another thing I learned was that breast milk, what did I want to say? Think. I don't know. Anyway, okay. Something else I used from after 6 weeks was the Haka, or the silicone hand pump thing, B-roll. So I used this thing from 6 weeks on to collect extra milk. I actually started early. I think I started around 4 weeks, but they recommend after 6 weeks so your supply can actually figure itself out. But obviously then you're increasing the supply again, and then that's a whole issue. So most moms actually use it from the very start, and I wish I did, because then I could have collected more colostrum for her, and I didn't do that, and that was stupid. But I used it from like 4-6 weeks. First of all, to save for bottle feeding, and to just have extra on hand, and whenever she was sick, I would write on the pack teething or fever or whatever little symptoms that she's been having, and when she feels like that again, I give her extra of that specific milk, because the younger the baby, the better the milk. So like a month later, if I give her previous month's milk when she had symptoms, it's extremely beneficial for them. So that's something else that I did. I also let from 6 weeks, Dad gave her 1 bottle a day. Not formula, breast milk, but 1 bottle a day. Problem thing is, you should not be in the room at all. You shouldn't be anywhere close to her when feeding. If you can leave half an hour beforehand, even better. But we did that so that he could also start creating a better bond with her, because obviously babies are like animals. They love who feeds them. It just happens. It's a natural thing. So that bonding experience. Also, if I didn't have enough milk, there's certain things that I could eat or just do like skin to skin. That works wonderful. I drink an elixir these days that helps me get more milk. You can do jungle juice, which is also very good, but it does have a lot of sugar, so be careful of that. And oats. Oats is like a magic food. Like seriously, oats works wonders when you're breastfeeding. Yes. So now that we're almost at the end, let me tell you what's coming next. We're going to do a video where we're going to share a little bit of Dad's side. How did Dad experience breastfeeding? How was it for him? I'm going to talk a little bit more about the sex side, about how breastfeeding influences intimacy in that like physical intimacy way. And then we're also going to do a little Q&A. So any questions you have, please leave them down in the comments below. We really want to answer everything we can for you. As you can see, we are very real here, so just truth will be spoken. All right. Thank you for watching. Thank you for growing with us. Please remember to like, subscribe, do all the things, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.